here is the following definition of codependency. And I'm not looking at the slide, so the slide's probably going to be a lot more clear and more concise. Codependency is an individual phenomenon, an individual problem, and I dare say disorder. Sorry for you DSM purists. I know it's not going to get into DSM, but still, I think it's a disorder that manifests in a relationship. A codependent is a person within relationships gives the preponderance of love, respect, and care to others while hoping and expecting reciprocity or mutuality. And they don't get it because they always, human magnet syndrome says they always pick the wrong person. And they get upset and they try to control it. They try to get that person to love, respect, and care for them. And by the way, I abbreviated that because in my book and other writings I call it LRC. Again, less syllables. And they fight for an LRC equal exchange. They don't get it. They try to control it. Now that in itself is not codependent. What makes that codependent is they stay. And they're bitter. And they're angry. The person that gives all the love, respect, and care and leaves is a person that's got other problems. So that's codependency in a nutshell. A person who within relationships finds themselves in relationships with others in which there is an inequality of the exchange of love, respect, and care. They're upset about it, they try to control it, and they stay. That's it. Now, I want to simplify it because if we're going to understand a problem, we have to have an operational definition. Now, of course, I have like 40 or 50 pages in my book about that, so it's more than that. So, I say, and I actually told Melody Beatty, she says it's okay for me to say it, and she reminded me, you can't copyright a title, but she also suggested that I don't use it as a title in my book. But I say, her book is called Codependent No More. I say codependency no more. It's time to let go of that term because it doesn't work. Self-love deficit disorder. I am going to change, if it's up to me, it is my personal ambition to change our field to replace codependency with the term self-love deficit disorder. Because at the core of every codependent is a lack of self-love. We are going to talk about today why that is because of our fossil excavation, why that is. But think about it. Let's just be very concrete for a second. If someone really loved themselves and they're in a relationship, and they really value themselves, and they are constantly in relationships with people that do not love, respect, and care for them, what do? They get out. It might be messy, it might not be easy. Every codependent that I work with, the bottom line at the end of therapy, it's a feeling of self-love, and that in itself is the end point of our treatment. So self-love deficit disorder, or SLDD, not only replaces a shame-based disorder, a title for disorder, but it describes a disorder. If you have major depression, you have major depression. If you have general anxiety, you have general anxiety. Well, if you have self-love deficit disorder, you are walking around, maybe not aware of it, but with an absence of self-love, and that's the problem. And the solution is inherent in the name. So everything that I've been working on, I've changed the titles. So if you like the word codependency, please use it. But everything in this workshop, if my find and replace function worked correctly, and my editing chief, my wife, caught it all, you won't see codependency mentioned too much in this training. But I am talking about codependency. And I probably will slip in it because I just created this name not too long ago. SLD, by the way, if you have SLDD, you're SLD. I always want to short everything. SLDs and codependents, because there's something nice about having a disorder where, like borderlines, by the way, borderlines absolutely dislike, and for a good reason, to be called borderlines. So I don't want to reduce a problem by a name, but SLDD clients are unique. First of all, they're the ones we like the best. Who here in this room absolutely loves working with narcissists? All right. Okay. Well, maybe there's a reason for that. SLD clients are unique. One is they know they have a problem. They can talk about it. They don't necessarily feel defensive about it. I'll tell you a story, for example, to delineate the difference of an SLD client and a narcissist client, and a way to sell a book. I was at a SASH conference in Boston, and this woman came up to me and asked me, do you do Skype sessions? Because I saw your training, et cetera, et cetera. And I go, well, not really. But she goes, I have to talk to you about something. I think I'm a narcissist, and I'm really upset about it. My boyfriend bought your book, and he said I'm a narcissist, and because of that, he broke up with me. And I'm like crushed. I feel humiliated, and I'm so shamed, and I don't know what to do with myself. So like I'm Johnny on the spot. I'm just here, thinking, I hope I sell a few books. So I go into like therapist mode, and I said, do you mind if I ask you a few questions? She says, not at all. So I started naming the traits of narcissism. Does your boyfriend have these traits? Yes, 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 yes. And she goes, I go, here's the problem. You're a codependent because you were able to accept the problem that someone said you have, feel bad about it, talk about it, seek help for it, and feel shamed about it. He is a manipulative narcissist who gaslights you. She goes, really? I go, absolutely. She actually started to cry. She bought my book, of course. But it's an example of why codependents are our favorite clients, because they really want us to tell them what's wrong. They really want help, and they're open. So now let's replay that story. And a narcissist comes up to me. And by the way, I've received some pretty darn messy letters from narcissists. If you want to see a few of them, go on Amazon, check my Amazon reviews, and click on the 1-star reviews. They're narcissists. By the way, if someone doesn't, and I promise this, if you don't like me, I don't think you're a narcissist. Just to be clear. But narcissists are triggered by any idea that there's anything wrong with them. I don't believe that codependency is a problem. It's a symptom. It is a symptom of other problems. And if it is a symptom, and we work at it as a problem, we work for years and years and years, and we don't resolve it. Now, unfortunately, many of us do that, not because we're bad therapists, not because we're misguided, and certainly not because we're lazy. We do it because we don't know. And I want to teach you guys, maybe inspire you, to figure out that maybe what we're doing isn't deep enough. Because if our job is to solve a problem, and we're working on the symptom, and the client likes the fact that we're working on the symptom, we have a happy client coming to us for 2 or 3 years, and they're not getting better, and we, unbeknownst to ourselves, aren't doing the work as well as we could, but certainly aren't responsible.